The cold wind moved softly through the streets of a small town in Scotland. The year was 1723. Horse carts rolled slowly across muddy roads. Merchants sold goods in crowded markets. Workers carried heavy bags of grain. Sailors returned from dangerous journeys across the sea. At that time, the world was very different. There were no airplanes, no smartphones, no giant companies, no internet, no modern banks like today. Most people lived difficult lives. Farmers worked from sunrise until night. Workers earned very little money. Many families struggled to survive. And across Europe, kings and governments believed one powerful idea. Wealth means gold. They believed the richest nations were the ones with the most gold and silver locked inside their treasure rooms. Because of this belief, governments controlled trade heavily. They created strict laws, high taxes, powerful restrictions. Many rulers thought ordinary people could not be trusted with economic freedom. But in this changing world, a quiet young boy was growing up with different questions inside his mind. His name was Adam Smith. From childhood, Adam loved observing people. He watched merchants negotiate prices. He watched workers build products. He watched ships arrive with goods from distant countries. While others saw ordinary daily life, Adam saw hidden patterns. He noticed something strange. Every person in society depended on others. The farmer needed tools from the blacksmith. The blacksmith needed food from the farmer. The baker needed wheat. The tailor needed cloth. The merchant needed customers. Society worked like one giant invisible machine, and Adam wanted to understand how it all worked. As he grew older, he became deeply interested in philosophy, morality, and human behavior. But one question stayed inside his mind more than anything else. Why do some nations become rich while others remain poor? At that time, many people believed the answer was simple: gold, silver, treasures. But Adam was not convinced. One day, while walking through a busy market, he stopped and observed something important. A poor worker carrying bread was helping society. A fisherman selling fish was helping society. A carpenter building furniture was helping society. None of these people were kings, yet together, they kept the entire nation alive. That moment changed Adam's thinking forever. He began realizing something revolutionary. The true wealth of a nation does not come from gold locked in palaces. It comes from productive people, workers, farmers, businesses, trade, creativity, human effort. This idea was dangerous at the time because it challenged the beliefs of powerful governments. But Adam continued studying. For years, he traveled and observed economies carefully. He studied factories, markets, prices, trade routes, human behavior. And slowly, one of the most important books in history began forming inside his mind. A book that would later change the modern world forever: The Wealth of Nations. Years later, Adam Smith finally published the book in 1776. At first, many people did not fully understand how important it was. But over time, the ideas inside the book spread across nations like fire. Because Adam Smith explained something humanity had never understood so clearly before. Nations become rich when people are free to work, create, trade, and improve their lives. One of Adam's most powerful discoveries came from something very simple: a pin factory. One day, Adam visited a small factory where workers made tiny metal pins. At first, the work looked ordinary, but then he noticed something incredible. Instead of one person making the entire pin alone, different workers each focused on one small task. One stretched the wire, another cut it, another sharpened it, another packaged it. The result shocked him. Together, these workers produced thousands of pins every day, far more than any single worker could ever make alone. Adam realized something powerful: specialization creates productivity. When people focus on specific tasks, they become faster, more skilled, and more efficient. This idea became known as the division of labor. And later, it helped create modern factories, industries, and mass production across the world. But Adam Smith's ideas went even deeper. He noticed something else about human nature. People naturally try to improve their own lives. A baker wants profit. A farmer wants success. A merchant wants customers. At first, this sounds selfish, but Adam noticed something surprising. While people worked for themselves, they also helped society. The baker fed families. The merchant supplied products. The worker built homes. This became one of Adam Smith's most famous ideas, the invisible hand. He believed that when people freely create businesses and exchange goods, society often benefits naturally. Not because everyone is trying to be kind, but because human cooperation creates progress. And everywhere Adam looked, he saw proof. Markets grew, trade expanded, cities became richer. But Adam also understood danger. He knew greed without morality could destroy society. He believed nations also needed justice, education, fair laws, honesty. Freedom without responsibility could become chaos. This balance made Adam Smith different from many people who later misunderstood his ideas. He did not worship money. He believed money was only useful if it improved human life. As years passed, the world slowly changed. Factories became larger, trade expanded across oceans, industries grew rapidly, and many of Adam Smith's ideas helped shape this new economic world. Countries began allowing more business freedom. Trade restrictions slowly decreased. Entrepreneurs built companies. Innovation increased. The Industrial Revolution exploded across Europe. Machines transformed production forever. And slowly, living standards improved. Not for everyone immediately, but over time, societies became more productive than ever before in history. Yet Adam Smith's lessons were not only about economics, they were about human cooperation itself. Think about a simple smartphone today. One object, created by thousands of workers around the world. Miners collect metals, engineers design chips, programmers write software, factory workers assemble parts, drivers transport products, millions of strangers cooperate indirectly. Exactly the kind of system Adam Smith saw long before modern technology existed. He understood something timeless. Human progress happens when people work together productively. Even today, the modern world still follows many of his ideas. Competition drives innovation. Trade connects nations. Specialization increases productivity. Economic freedom creates opportunity. Of course, modern economies are far more complicated now. Some people believe governments should control markets more. Others believe businesses need greater freedom. The debates continue even today. But almost everyone agrees on one thing. The wealth of nations changed the world permanently because Adam Smith transformed how humanity understood money, trade, the work, and prosperity. But perhaps the most important lesson from his life is this. A nation does not become strong because of treasure alone. It becomes strong because of its people, their skills, their effort, their creativity, their productivity, their cooperation. Wealth is not magic. It is built slowly through human work, innovation, organization, and trust. And that truth continues shaping civilization every single day, from small shops to giant corporations, from local markets to global trade. The invisible engine of human cooperation still moves the modern world forward. And it all began with one quiet thinker from Scotland who dared to ask a simple question. Why do nations become rich?